Hey, this is Attorney Elizabeth Potts Weinstein. Today we're going to be talking about how to start the new year right. So right now it is a brand new year in your business, and this is a great time to revisit a ton of things in your business and make sure they were done correctly, and also analyze what happened and what didn't happen and how you're going to change things for this year. One of the reasons it's a good time to do this at the end of the year or the beginning of the year is because you remember that it's the end of the year or the beginning of the year. It's a good way to know that you need to look at all these things. These are all higher level things that it's very easy to forget to do when you're actually running your business on a day-to-day basis. So let's get into the kind of things I'm talking about. So the first thing is your financials. So look at your books for the entire year. Get your last, profit and loss statement, the assets and liabilities statement of your business, all that kind of stuff together for the prior year. And look at this. So it's very common for people to just create those reports and send it off to their tax person and have their tax person tell them how much taxes to pay. But look at these pieces of information. Look at the income that you have coming in. Is there an area where you have income that is wildly unprofitable, considering how much energy and time you put into that part of your business and it makes hardly any money? Look at income and expenses together. And because there could be something that generates a lot of revenue, but it is so costly for your business, it's actually not worth it. Sometimes one of the best ways to make more money, to actually take home money in a business, is to stop doing something, because it frees up so much time and energy and money. You can actually invest that in the parts of your business that are very profitable and make a whole lot more on the bottom line. And you want to look at the expenses of your business and see, are there expenses that for stuff that you're not actually using? In our personal lives and our business lives, we have so many monthly things that we pay for, annual things that we pay for, and it is important to regularly revisit those things and make sure they actually still make sense for your business. The next thing you need to look at is, have things changed in your business over the last year, and you need to update some government about that. So if you've changed your business address or your personal residence address, you may need to update the federal government, the state government, your county, your city. Whoever you've done filings for in the past for your business, they need to be updated on the new change of address. It's very easy to forget to do that because you're so busy moving, but you need to make sure that wherever you filed an address with, that has been changed. The BOI with the federal government, the state incorporation documents, you file like an annual report or something, depends on the state, what it's actually called. With your state government, you may need to update your seller's permit. With your local government, you need to update your business license, etc. Next thing to look at is do a risk analysis of your business and see if you need to change anything about your insurance. If you don't have business insurance, go get business insurance, okay? But assuming you have it, look at your business insurance policy and see if it actually still matches up. So for example, for me, in one of my businesses, I'm going to be starting to sell products. So I needed to add a product liability portion to my insurance. It's actually a separate policy through the same company, is how it works for my particular business. So you need to look at the insurance that you have for your business and make sure they still match up. For example, let's say you now have a car that you use for business. You now need to have auto insurance for your business. Your personal auto insurance will not cover you using your car for business. So it really depends on your exact business, what insurance that you're going to need, but this is a time to review that or get the insurance if you don't have it already. And the thing is, every business needs insurance. You at least need some basic business liability insurance and insurance over your property. Like if you have a camera like this, if you have a laptop, you have a phone you use for your business, whatever, that's not covered by your personal insurance unless you have a specific rider for business stuff. It needs to be covered by business insurance. You can get a business owner's policy. It's fairly straightforward. It's not something that is very complicated to get. By the way, for all these different things that I'm talking about, I'm going to have some links below in the description for resources that I recommend, some of which I am an affiliate for, so I get a little bit of a commission that helps support the channel if you use it, but obviously you don't have to click on the link if you're not interested in that. The next thing to do is look at your website, your terms of service, your terms and conditions, your privacy policy, all that website stuff. Is it still what you do? Okay, first update the copyright date, so that's a good thing if it's not getting updated automatically, but also look at your privacy policy. or if you don't have one, get a privacy policy. So everyone needs one. It doesn't have to be super complicated if you don't take a lot of information from people, but look at your privacy policy. Is that still the information that you get from people, or do you have more information that you get? And is that still how you use it? Same kind of thing with your website, terms and conditions, terms of service, what other terms you have on there. That's not something that every website actually legally has to have, but it's usually a good idea to have some basic set of terms, even if you don't have people buying stuff from your website. You can buy stuff from your website, you definitely need a terms and conditions. So look at that and see, does it still make sense? Terms and conditions is a kind of contract, and we're going to talk a little bit more about contracts and things, but you want to look at it and see, is this still what you're offering? Are these still the limits that you're going to have? Think about what problems you had over this last year, and are there things that need to be changed about these terms and conditions? Are you getting way too many returns? Are people being ridiculous about returns? Are you having complexities with people paying for things? Like, you may need to update this for your business so your business works well in the next year. And that leads into contracts. So looking at every legal agreement that you have for your business. So contracts you have with independent contractors, with vendors, with your clients or customers, all that stuff. And think about, over this last year, what went wrong? And how can I add something in the contract to make that less likely? And what it needs to, you think about misunderstandings. So I've had problems in the past where people thought something was included in my services that is not included. And I thought it was clear in the contract, but apparently it wasn't. Now, sometimes, and this is related to the contract thing, it's not that it's not clear in the contract, it's that no one's reading it, which could be because it's too complicated or long, but it could also just be because people don't read contracts. So for example, in my business, I have a contract that's my law firm. I have a contract that's perfectly fine, probably, and it's just that a lot of people don't read it. So I've made sure that in the emails that get sent to people, I have template emails that say a bunch of the things in the contract, such that the things that are the most likely for people to get confused about or not realize. So that way, it's more obvious. I even have something that I put in my invoice in the little, notes memo section in the invoice. So it makes it even more likely that people will realize that, because that's the biggest misunderstanding in my business. So that's the thing to think about with your contractors, with your vendors, with your business partners, with your customers or clients. What have been the misunderstandings have you had in the last year? And how can you add some language somewhere, whether it's things that you say, whether it's emails, whether it's something that's in the invoice, whether it is in the contract, that will make that less likely to happen. And to be honest, if you're having a lot of misunderstandings about a particular point, I'd recommend to have that everywhere. You may even put it in your website, all kinds of places, because if it's a misunderstanding for more than one person, it needs to be everywhere. And the last thing you want to look at are your business entity documents. It depends on the kind of business entity you have. But if you have an LLC, do you have an operating agreement? Yes, you should have one, even if it's just you. And does it need to be changed? If you have a corporation, you need to have your annual shareholder meeting, your annual board of directors meeting. There needs to be minutes for both of those things, even if it's something as simple as literally one page. We had a meeting. Is over. It's a good, sometimes you can have the meeting as part of this. So you can have your annual shareholder meeting at the same time, really, because if it's just you having a meeting with yourself, and use that as your time to review your financials and look at your goals for the next year and all kind of stuff. It makes sense to do that at a meeting like that, and have the minutes for that, put that in your files. So you've done your compliance for your business for that year and followed the rules. If you have an LLC, you're not required to have meetings during the year, but I think it's still a very good idea. You can have minutes for that meeting, and you can use it as a time to amend your operating agreement. You can create things in writing for your LLC that documents decisions that you've made for your LLC. But generally speaking, it's a very good idea to revisit all those business formation and entity documents and procedures that you've followed in the past to make sure everything's currently being done correctly. So you have observed the corporate formalities and you don't accidentally lose liability protections of your LLC or corporation. Now, if you have a sole proprietorship, you don't really have formation documents in that way. If you have a partnership, the same kind of thing when you want to revisit your partnership agreement. And to be honest, I don't think anyone should have a partnership. You should form an LLC or a corporation. So this is the time to think about that. Okay, again, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts Weinstein. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, feel free to post them in the comments below, and I'll try to point you in the right direction. Thumbs up if you found this video helpful, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye-bye.